We have had a great green bean and squash season. We have grown green beans on our cattle panel arch, and it's been super easy to just walk under and pull the green beans off the vine. We have also had lots of squash, especially this very large variety. So I need to preserve these and I'm going to can them. I really like fermenting vegetables, but it is also good to have canned food on the shelf too. My canner holds 14 quarts at one time, and because I don't have enough beans currently, I am going to do a load of squash and green beans together. Now typically, squash should be pressure canned for 90 minutes for quart jars, and the green beans are typically pressure canned for 25 minutes for quart jars. Of course, the pounds of pressure are determined by your particular location. If I am wanting to can both of these in the same pressure canner at the same time, I will go with the longer time, which is 90 minutes. I always do at least 5 minutes more over the recommended time to be on the safe side. Of course, the squash and green beans are washed well and then cut into manageable pieces. The jars are also cleaned well. I pack them into the jars, put water and salt in, and seal them up with the lid and ring. I am using an All-American canner. I love it. I've used Presto canners before, but in my opinion, there is no comparison. I am not affiliated with this company in any way. I just have used this canner for a couple of years and have seen the quality craftsmanship and safety precautions that they have put into this canner. In the bottom of my 14-quart canner, I am placing about 2 to 3 inches of water. I also make sure to put the base in the bottom. This keeps the jars off the very bottom of the canner where it could break the jars. Then I simply load it up. I put the first 7 quarts in and add another base for the second level of jars. I am using all ball jars except for one. I am experimenting with this different brand. This different brand is called Superb. I am not affiliated with this company either. We will see how it turns out. Now is the time to put the pressure canner lid on. Just make sure to line up the arrow with the indent on the canner to ensure the lid is on correctly. As you can see, the All-American canner is much different than the Presto. These just pull up over the lid and hold the lid on securely. You screw them on opposite sides and then you do the rest. At this point, I turn on the heat. I wait to turn the heat on because the jars were cool to the touch. This way, both the canner and the jars heat up at the same time. It will take a while, but you will begin to see steam coming out of the top. Once it has a full steady stream for 10 minutes, you can move on to the next step. The next step is to put the weighted gauge on. The gauge number all depends on your location and needs. For me, I am going to use 15. There is a lot of weighting at this point. The pressure inside needs to build up. You will hear the weighted gauge begin to jiggle. When it begins to jiggle every few seconds, you will see the pressure gauge start to rise. Now, I want to stay below 15 and above 13 on the dial, but that is different with anything that you are canning. Once your dial gauge says you are at 13, set the timer. I set mine for 95 minutes. During this time, you have to watch the dial gauge closely. If it gets near 15, the heat needs to be slightly turned down. If it gets closer to 13, the heat needs to increase. If at any time it drops below 13, you have to start your timer all over again. Once the 95 minutes are up, I simply turn it off and let it cool down on its own. There are specifications on when you can open the lid. However, I usually just let mine cool overnight. Even when you open it in the morning, the jars will still be very warm. I take the jars out and set them on a kitchen towel. I also cover them up with another towel. I don't want any cool air blowing on them because it could cause the jars to break. I also, at this time, check to make sure all have sealed correctly. After they have completely cooled down, I take the rings off the top and store them on my shelf to use during the winter and spring months when green beans and squash aren't growing. By the way, I absolutely love the Superb lids and jars. I did notice that the jars are slightly larger in girth than the ball jars and would present a problem when placing into a canner. But the lids, oh my goodness, they are wonderful. They are high quality and much superior to ball lids. And like I said, I am not an affiliate with either company. This is just my own personal preference. From here on out, it is Superb lids for me. Did you can anything this year? Do you have an All-American or Presto canner? Have you tried the Superb jars or lids? Let me know in the comments below. SHTF Survival Homestead Teaching Farm thanks you for watching this video. Please continue to help us help you by liking, sharing, and subscribing.